Hi, and welcome to my channel. Or if you're a returning subscriber, hi again. It's so nice to see you back here for another video. My name's Tess Lark, and today I'm going to show you how you can make these adorable glow-in-the-dark ghosts using epoxy resin, pigment powder, and a Sharpie. So I won't chat your ear off, and we'll just hop into today's project. But before we do, I would just like to remind you that all of the materials that I use for this project will be linked in the description below. All right, happy Halloween, let's craft. Let's Resin sent me some of their 2-part epoxy resin, and I've really been liking it. So this is the first time that I'm trying to use it today, but I'm gonna go ahead and measure out equal parts of my resin and my hardener. And for this project, I'll be using 100 milliliters total, so 50 milliliters of resin and 50 milliliters of hardener. And after I've measured out my resin, I'm going to go ahead and begin to mix it together, scraping both the sides and the bottom of my container as I go. And when you're mixing resin, you just want to go ahead and read the manufacturer's instructions, but essentially you want to mix it until it's clear. Another thing to keep in mind when you're working with resin is that it does like to be a little bit warmer. The ideal working temperature for resin is between 65 to 80 degrees. So especially during these colder months, if you do live in a colder climate, it might be a good idea to put your unopened resin and hardener in some warm water baths before you measure and mix them together. And then after my resin is thoroughly incorporated, I do like to let it sit for a couple minutes and hit it with the heat gun just to pop any bubbles that are starting to form before moving on. The next step is going to be to section out some of my resin into some smaller cups so I can start mixing the pigment into them. And I'm going to be using 4 different colors, 2 colors for each ghost. Starting with my green, and I'm just using a little bit of green and some of this blue green, and I'll be using more blue green for my smaller ghost. And then I'll be using some of the blue pigment powder along with the sky blue for my larger ghost. And I am being pretty heavy-handed with these pigments because I really want them to be really glowy once they're charged up with the light. So next I'm just going to use some popsicle sticks and incorporate all those pigments into my resin. And I've got a sleepy black cat here at my feet, so if she says hi, don't mind her. Next, I'm just going to go ahead and hit those once more with my heat gun before moving on. So to form one of my ghosts, I'm going to take a piece of cling wrap and put that right over a paper plate. I do want to make sure that's all the way over the edges because the resin's going to weigh it down a little bit. Next, I'm going to go ahead and just right around that outer rim, I'm going to lay down some crushed glass. And that's just going to help act as a barrier so the resin doesn't go everywhere and it has a nice even border. So I'm going to start with my blue and just pouring that around the outside, and then I'll fill in the center with that sky blue. And then I'm going to go ahead and set this off to the side and start on my second ghost. So the same process here. And for these ghosts, I'm going to let them cure, but I'm only going to let them cure for about 3 to 4 hours because I want to make sure that they're still very, very pliable. So I can drape them over some little molds that I made with aluminum foil to give them that ghost shape. So again, I've just started with my color around the outside edge, and then I'm filling it in with the lighter color in the center. And if you're interested in some more resin art Halloween tutorials from me, I do have an entire holiday playlist here on YouTube, so make sure you check that out when you're done with this video. So here are the little structures that I made just using some aluminum foil. One's a little bit larger, one's a little bit smaller. And after 3 or 4 hours, I'm just going to go ahead and begin to drape those pieces over the forms. And you can really play with the piece a little bit and manipulate it until you get a shape that you're happy with. Make sure that you're using gloves, of course, during this process. And then just taking my second smaller piece, and I'm going to drape it over the shorter form. Again, just using my fingers to mold it in place and get a nice shape. And then once you're happy with the shape of your pieces, go ahead and let them set up completely. So I let my ghosts set up completely, they're totally cured, so let's go ahead and pull them off of their little molds and see how they turned out, and we'll finish these pieces up. So starting with my little green guy here, it's honestly looking so cute, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove that little piece of foil that I had made earlier. And then I'm going to go ahead and start taking off that plastic. So as you can see, it's got all of these pleats and all of this texture. It really does look like cloth or fabric that's just draping down over something, or like a classic little Halloween ghost. And then just repeating the same process for my blue one. So I'm gonna go ahead and take out that foil there. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and work my way around and get this plastic out. Sometimes, so like you can see here where the piece is a little folded over itself, it's gonna be hard to get all of that plastic out. So if it's a little bit sloppy, I can always go in just with my scissors. Let's pull out all this plastic. And also, you guys, how cute would these be with some of those little electronic tea lights underneath? So definitely you don't want to put an actual burning flame candle in here, but if you used one of those little battery powered tea lights right underneath here, I think it could be really, really cute. Maybe we'll try that at the end. And this one also has some great movement, lots of really cool patterns and texture to it. So let's go ahead and give our ghost some faces. To make faces on my ghost, I'll just be using a black Sharpie, but you could also use some black acrylic paint. And when I make the faces for the ghost, I'm just gonna go ahead and look for like a nice flat surface where I can make a couple eyes and maybe a mouth. So I think that this space here is gonna be the best. And I also like the way that the movement is and how it sits. So I'm gonna draw his little face right here. And then I'll just repeat the process on my second ghost, but I think I'm gonna give this guy a little spooky mouth. You guys, how cute are these little ghosts? This could also be a really fun project to do with your kids. Obviously, when you're working with resin, you need to supervise your kids and kind of do most of the project for them. But they can definitely pick out some colors and draw little faces on at the end. It can be a lot of fun. And now let's go ahead and check these out in the dark and see if they glow. So here's our little blue ghost, and I absolutely love him. It really does have a great glow to it, and I'm so impressed with these pigments. Again, I will have everything that I used linked in the description below, so if you want to try these out for yourselves, all of that information will be down there for you. But oh my gosh, you guys, look how cute he is. Poe says hello again. And here is our spooky green ghost. I also think that this green has a great glow to it as well. I definitely think that the lighter pigments put off more light, which also makes sense. But let me know what you guys think below in the comments. Which one's your favorite? I don't really know. I love them both equally. They're both my children and I love them. All right, you guys, and that's this project all finished up. I hope that you liked it, and I hope that you found it interesting, and I hope that it helps to get you into the holiday spirit. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, leave me some sort of Halloween inspired emoji down in the comments below so that I know that it's real. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I really hope that it inspires you to make something of your own today. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!